Cyber Threat Brief for June 1st, 2026. Critical WordPress plugin flaw under active exploitation allows unauthenticated admin account creation. Dutch authorities dismantle massive 17 million device botnet. Container escape vulnerabilities continue to threaten cloud infrastructure. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Daily Cybersecurity Brief June 1, 2026. Next section, Critical Alerts. Critical WP Maps Pro flaw actively exploited. CVE 2026-8732, WP Maps Pro. A WordPress plugin with over 15,000 sales on Envato Market has a critical privilege escalation vulnerability. CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, 9.8 EPSS. The Exploit Prediction Scoring System, 0.1/22 percentile, that allows unauthenticated attackers to create administrator accounts and take over WordPress sites. The flaw exists in the plugin's temporary access feature, designed for support staff troubleshooting. The AJAX endpoint, WP-GMP Temp Access AJAX, is accessible to unauthenticated users and protected only by a non-C check embedded in front-end JavaScript via WP localized script, making the protection useless. Attackers can invoke WP-GMP Temp Access support with check temp equals false to unconditionally create an administrator user and receive a magic login URL that authenticates them without a password. Action: update to WP Maps Pro 6.1.1 immediately. Over 3,600 exploitation attempts blocked in 24 hours per defiant. WordFence blocked 2,858 attacks. Check WordPress user lists for unauthorized administrator accounts. The vulnerability impacts all versions through 6.1.0. Sources: The Hacker News Bleeping Computer. Next section, Business and Infrastructure Threats. Dutch authorities dismantle 17 million device botnet. Dutch police and NCSC dismantled a botnet controlling at least 17 million infected devices, including computers, smartphones, tablets, and IoT devices. Over 200 servers in the Netherlands provided backend infrastructure. The service is reportedly ASOX, a residential proxy provider offering corporate, residential, and mobile proxies for $5.15 monthly subscriptions. The botnet enslaved devices by exploiting access vulnerabilities to install remote control malware. While residential proxies have legitimate privacy uses, the ecosystem is shadowy, with providers catering to attackers who purchase access to compromised devices to route malicious traffic and execute cyber attacks. Action: keep operating systems updated, maintain visibility of edge devices like routers, use strong passwords with 2FA, install apps only from trusted sources, change default passwords, and secure Wi-Fi with WPA2 or WPA3. Source: The Hacker News. Container attack vectors continue to threaten cloud environments. CVE 2019-5736, CVE 2022-0492. Kaspersky Research documents the evolution of container attacks into multi-stage scenarios involving supply chain compromises, Kubernetes secrets theft, orchestration API abuse, and container escape attempts. Recent attacks include APT, Advanced Persistent Threat, Group Team PCP compromising checkmarks kicks by poisoning a Docker Hub repository to steal Kubernetes secrets. Primary attack vectors include exploiting host system and container runtime vulnerabilities, malicious activity inside compromised containers, container escapes followed by host compromise, exploiting misconfigurations in containerization and orchestration APIs, and supply chain attacks including container image poisoning and CI/CD pipeline compromise. CVE 2019-5736, EPSS 0.500 and 92/98 percentile is highlighted as one of the most prominent containerization vulnerabilities. CVE 2022-0492, EPSS 0.52/90 percentile, also poses risks. Because containers share the host kernel, vulnerabilities affecting Linux kernel or runtime components remain critical when exploited from within containers. Action: implement comprehensive container security spanning configuration auditing, runtime protection, activity monitoring, and software supply chain security. Verify container images from trusted sources, scan images for vulnerabilities before deployment, and monitor runtime behavior for anomalies. Source: Securalist Kaspersky. Smart Ape SG ClickFix campaign delivers multi-stage RAT infections. SANS ISC documented an unidentified RAT infection originating from the Smart Ape SG ClickFix campaign on May 27, 2026, followed by deployment of malicious Net Support Manager RAT. The initial RAT generates encoded, non-HTTPS, traffic to command and control server at 89.110.110.119 over TCP port 443. After initial infection, follow-up files for net support RAT are delivered through the RAT's C2 channel. The campaign uses fake verification pages with click-fix instructions to trick users into running malicious scripts. Net support RAT C2 communicates with 185.163.47.217 to 443. The attack chain includes processor, VBS token, BAT and setup, cab files with the batch script extracting and making the net support RAT persistent before deleting installation artifacts. Action block IOCs at perimeter, domains Hidden Planet Lab, Top and Silver Harvest Network. COM, IPs 89.110.110.119, and monitor for click-fix style social engineering and suspicious VBS/BAT execution from program data directories. Check at Monitorsk on Mastodon for daily updated indicators, and 3 additional IP addresses in the show notes. Source: SANS Internet Storm Center. Ransomware group claims HDFC AMC data theft. Bombay High Court granted interim relief to HDFC AMC after ransomware group, Morpheus, allegedly stole over 680 gigabytes of sensitive company and investor data. The court issued an injunction barring unidentified hackers from publishing or sharing the information, warning that any leak could lead to identity theft, financial fraud, and irreparable harm. The case involves one of India's largest asset management companies. Source: data breaches. Net. Next section, general security news. Russia expands SORM surveillance requirements. Russian government expanded data collection requirements for mobile operators and ISPs under the SORM, System for Operative Investigative Activities, surveillance system. New rules require telcos to collect extremely sensitive PII from every customer, including home addresses, passport data, tax ID, bank account details, and geolocation coordinates, linked to technical identifiers like IP addresses, phone numbers, MAC addresses, IMEI and IMSI codes. Technical data collection expanded to include domains accessed by users and even user logins visible to telcos. Over 200 servers were seized or taken offline. A minimum SORM deployment package previously cost around 5 million rubles, $70,000, and costs are now significantly higher. The government has been aggressively enforcing SORM compliance, fining 85 telcos last week for failing to provide IP address assignment data, and passed legislation to revoke licenses for up to 10 years for non-compliant ISPs. Many small ISPs, estimated 10,000 companies, lack financial resources to comply, leading to market consolidation. Source: Risky Biz News. 2026 election threats target campaign infrastructure. Not Voting Systems Checkpoint Research found that cybersecurity threats to the 2026 midterm elections are targeting campaign accounts, email systems, websites, and fundraising platforms rather than voting machines or ballot counting systems. 82% of malicious attacks arrive through email. ActBlue had approximately 9,500 stolen passwords, while WinRed had about 6,500. In January 2026, about 1,300 new websites included the word election, and 4,010 included vote, with the majority expected to be used for phishing scams. AI is lowering the barrier to entry for attackers and increasing the quality of attacks, making everything more realistic and effective. AI-generated manipulated content is becoming increasingly visible in the 2026 cycle. Action: strengthen email security controls, enable MFA, multi-factor authentication on all campaign-related accounts, audit fundraising platform credentials, and provide security awareness training on AI-powered phishing and deepfake threats. Source: Cyberscoop. YaraX 1.17.0 released YaraX version 1.17.0, released with 5 improvements including several performance enhancements and 1 bug fix. YaraX is a rewrite of Yara in Rust for improved performance and safety in malware detection rule engines. Source: SANS Internet Storm Center. Next section, Patch Priority. WP Maps Pro update to 6.1.1 immediately. Critical 9.8 CVSS vulnerability actively exploited to create admin accounts. Container infrastructure audit Docker, Kubernetes, and container runtime components for CVE 2019-5736 and CVE 2022-0492 patches. All systems keep operating systems updated to defend against botnet recruitment via unpatched vulnerabilities. Next section, Vulnerability Disclosures. CVE 2026-8732 WP Maps Pro Privilege Escalation Critical Privilege Escalation Vulnerability. CVSS 9.8. EPSS 0.1/22 percentile, in WP Maps Pro WordPress plugin versions 6.1.0 and earlier. Unauthenticated attackers can create administrator accounts via flawed temporary access feature. The AJAX endpoint, WP-GMP Temp Access AJAX, is registered with WP AJAX, NOPRIV, and protected only by a non-C check, embedded in front-end JavaScript as the non-C field of the WP-GMP local JavaScript object, making the check ineffective as an access control mechanism. Attackers can invoke WP-GMP temp access support with check temp equals false to unconditionally create a WordPress user with hard-coded administrator role via WP insert user, and receive a magic login URL that calls WP set auth cookie for full authentication, resulting in complete site takeover. Fixed in version 6.1.1 by restricting endpoint access to authenticated administrators only. Active exploitation confirmed with over 3,600 attempts blocked. Sources: The Hacker News Bleeping Computer. CVE 2019-5736 Container Runtime Escape vulnerability with EPSS score 0.592, 98th percentile, indicating high likelihood of exploitation. Remains one of the most prominent and illustrative vulnerabilities associated with containerization. Successful exploitation can lead to container escape, Kubernetes node or cluster compromise, lateral movement, secrets theft, and service disruption. Source: Securalist Kaspersky. CVE 2022-0492 Container Escape vulnerability with EPSS score 0.52, 90th percentile. Allows attackers to break out of container isolation when exploited under specific configuration settings or privileges. Source: Securalist Kaspersky. Next section: Trends and Context. Container security continues to be a critical concern as attacks evolve beyond simple misconfigurations to multi-stage campaigns involving supply chain compromises and APT groups poisoning public repositories. The WordPress ecosystem remains a high-value target with premium plugins representing attractive attack surfaces due to wide deployment and privileged functionality. Botnet operations at scale, exemplified by the 17 million device ASOX takedown, demonstrate the ongoing challenge of EOT and residential device security, where default credentials and unpatched systems enable mass compromise. That concludes today's Cyber Threat Brief. From Carolina Clear Tech, stay patched, stay vigilant.